A hearty good morning to you, or afternoon if you're listening later in the day. Welcome to another Your Lurgan podcast. I'm Donagh McCone.
And I'm Michael Scott. Hello.
How are you? I'm in sunny Galway at the moment. At least it's sunny over the last day or two. It's been rather horrendous rain on the Atlantic seaboard, not in Lurgan. I am allowed out from time to time. Michael, you're back home in your hometown. So it's a kind of almost like an international call today, isn't it?
It is. Only I didn't have time. We could have done this on later in the weekend, and you could have been in Galway and I could have been in Dublin.
You're skirting about today.
I am. But it's good to see you. I mean, obviously taking time out from your busy schedule, to accommodate me.
Oh yeah, I deem it worthy that you may speak to me.
Yeah, thanks very much.
So we got plenty to look at today. An ongoing situation is what's dominating the start of the conversation. We're looking to our well, this is biased here, our fabulous city park in Craigavon. It's in the news and judgment about to be delivered, I understand.
Yeah, we're led to believe that judgment is going to be made in the ongoing judicial review that's being taken to decide whether or not the Southern Regional College should be allowed to build their new Craigavon campus in the grounds of the city park. We have learned over the course of the last few days that obviously now the hearings had been taking place and the judgment is due to be delivered on the 26th of October or before that. So we should have a resolution to that matter before the end of the month. Now, obviously, it's an ongoing legal process, so we're not going to talk about what's been going on within the case. But one thing that has happened since the hearings concluded was that the Save Craigavon City Park and Lakes group have issued a statement basically thanking people for their support, including their legal team, and Doug Beattie, MLA, as well, was amongst those who lent them a bit of support. But they've also had a bit of a dig at the council. Now, just to state from the outset, we haven't got a response at this stage whenever we're recording this from the council. We have asked them for one, and I'm sure they would refute everything that's about to be said here. But they've basically said that they've called the council to account in many matters outside of the campaign, and they'll continue to do that. And that ABC Council have been, in their opinion, liberal in their application of their standards and code of conduct that apply to public life. They've come to the conclusion, this is a direct quote from what they've said: "We have come to the conclusion that power brings ruthlessness, selfishness, and cruelty. The 41 people that we elected had the power to stop this. The majority, whatever their agenda, failed us. They also gave us permission to wipe out the habitat." Sorry, I'll repeat that. I've just read that slightly wrong. "They've also gave permission to wipe out the habitat of thousands of creatures with the bucket of a digger. That is cruelty." So
this is before any decision has been announced, so they don't know which way this particular decision will go. No. And I know the history of this is a long one. It's 7 or 8 years in the making, as it were. And it sounds like they're taking a swinging swipe at councillors. Forget about the officials involved. This is about the councils. You and I aren't here to make the decision, is that a right or a wrong thing? You're saying it's made there. Have we even had any response, I suppose it's too early, even from individual councillors or council groups, council political groupings?
No, and I would imagine you'll not hear anything from councillors or council groups, again, because there's an ongoing legal process at the minute. So they'll be staying quiet. But we have asked the council for a response, as I said, to the comments that have been made by the group. And if you keep an eye on Your Lurgan over the next couple of days, I'm sure you might see that response.
I know that we've been out there before. We've asked for a response before. It seems difficult to get any sort of response, certainly from the council previously. Are you expecting one, Michael?
I am. I'm expecting something, maybe even just something small, a holding statement. But I would expect to see something from them about this. But then their hands are tied as well. And I'm not speaking on the council's behalf, but there is, again, as I said, there is a legal process ongoing. All sides want to be very, very careful about, what they're saying. They don't want to could do some damage to their case, even though the hearings are now finished.
Would it be fair to say that whatever the result, there's going to be acrimony from one side or other? That seems to be almost a certainty.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be, overjoyed. I don't think anybody, no matter what the result is, I don't think anybody's going to be, there's going to be a loser. Basically, that's the way it's going to end up. And
it doesn't appear to be a win-win situation.
No, there's no win-win in this.
Who knows?
Yeah. And I can see the point of view of both sides as well, because obviously, this could be a big hub that's going to bring a lot of people into the centre of Craigavon that could, give the area a bit of a boost that way. But at the same time, you're damaging a habitat. There's a lot of, animals who live in that area, a lot of, wildlife and greenery in that area. And it's a very beautiful spot. It's actually, if you think of Craigavon and, how it gets slated all the time for its roundabouts and road network and whatever else, it's actually really, really a nice spot down there. So, no, there's going to be a loser at the end of this, and it'll be interesting to see what the reactions are come the 26th of October, or sooner, apparently, as well.
Is there a point of appeal after the decision is made? Could it roll on and rumble on again, do you think? I know we're looking to something that hasn't happened yet, but always see, is there a step further? It's never the final curtain, as it were, until there's another kind of mixture of legalities involved. Perhaps. I
would say that I don't know, Donagh, is the honest answer. I think there probably would be some. They're bound to be able to go to the Court of Appeal, or bound to be able to go to some higher court. But again, it's a very expensive process, so who knows? But as you said earlier on, we're 6-7 years down the road in this one, so less is the appetite going to be there to drag this on?
Less than 6 or 7 weeks. So we were talking about 3 or 4 weeks. What, 26? You say so?
Yeah.
Or what now? The 9th, 10th, or whenever, as it were. Well, watch this space, I suppose, for any updates, Michael. You'll have them on the page and ongoing. And when the final decisions are made, I'm sure we'll go looking and search for thoughts on that particular situation.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on, and we'll talk about somewhere you were on. I think it was Monday. You were down at...
Yep, down at Loughney Discovery Centre. Down for the launch of a new strategy by ABC Council. They're very good at this idea of collective thinking and working on strategies with all sorts of groups. This time it's for those who have engagement with our elderly community or the older community, and that means from 50 plus. You don't have to be terribly old. It's not the old-fashioned elderly on your canes and all that sort of stuff. That was laid out on Monday, and quite a number of people, as you might have seen, attending that from the various groups that represent, and indeed older people themselves down at that lodge. It's always a nice location for such a place. You did see the report, of course, Michael. Let's share a little bit about that. And come back after that and talk a little.
My name is Billy Stewart. I'm here today as the chair of the Armagh Boundbridge Craigavon Age Friendly Alliance. That's a group of people who have come together to assist each other in the formulation of the Age Friendly Strategy and Action Plan. This is a new action plan that's being launched today by the council, and really what it's going to do is hopefully make things different for the ageing population within our borough.
How long has this been in the planning, would you say, Billy?
We first met in March 2021. Everything that we've done pretty much has been on Zoom, particularly way back then. So today it's actually great to get people together. We have some of our Age Friendly Alliance members here today. And in truth, what we're really doing then is joining in with an older person celebration event that we're running here. Today is International Older Persons Day, And because of that, as a borough, we thought we would celebrate that, and we've brought just over 100, I'm going to say elderly people with experience, life experience. We've brought them here today to celebrate.
So that was the report. I managed to walk into to William a couple of times in the last couple of days. We were talking to him at the Friendly Club the previous week, and then on Mondays. Very nice guy, really helpful, and really enthusiastic about the work that he does with the older community. As it were, really interesting guy, interesting policy, really good idea. What I call joined up writing, which is really.
I wanted to ask you something, Donagh, and I don't want you to take offence at what I'm about to ask you, because obviously you're a lot older than me. But
a lot older than you, yes.
And I was just wondering, do you feel as somebody who is of a, I don't think you actually fall into the age bracket that this older person's strategy is maybe aimed at. Not quite yet. However, do you
I'm
feel
afraid
somebody's
I do.
heading that way?
Yeah, I think the point is making, and maybe you missed it, that it is for those over 50.
Oh, is it?
Over 50
Oh, well,
plus.
then you qualify by a good distance. Anyway.
Yeah, thanks for that. Give me in one hand, take it away in the other. I know what you're about.
Yeah.
But yes.
Do you feel that as a council area that enough is done to give people of your age bracket support? Do you feel that this is beneficial?
From a local standpoint of view, I see and I come across some of the community development and some of the support for those type of activities. I do see good support and increasing support. It's tied to budgets and what's available and stuff. I do see people reaching out to offer support, for example, those who want to start up clubs or have clubs, to encourage them a little bit further, or to put them in touch with others. I see the council doing that sort of work, which is really good. They're caught by budgetary constraints thereafter. Yes, I would say that they're proactive as much as you possibly can, and with a strategy they'll be even more so. The government at higher levels is a different story, but it's similar too. I mean, benefits are accruing, of course, when you're talking about pensions and stuff, and inflation and all the rest of it. There's concern, not alone with myself. I'm moving into that kind of pension age in the next year or so. So there's always concern about that. Is it moving in line with the times? But what's around that? What other support? The kind of community support, which I think is, if not equal, perhaps even worth more importance, is bringing community where you're in an age where you're perhaps fragile, perhaps not wanting to go out, that there is encouragement, certainly, to bring people together. And that's something, I think it's a strength in this council that they're doing that. Can they do more? Of course they can do more. And that's what the strategy will allow. It allows people who perhaps didn't see they had a context or a reason to get together with others. Suddenly, they may go to benefit from strands of kind of funding that the council can introduce them to, or they can tie in with other groups who are doing similar things and maybe get a unison of approach and all sorts of stuff. So yes, I think it's a really good idea, and in working practice, it's something that's being developed. There's no one perfect in how it's being run, but it's certainly working towards that. That's the feeling that I got. And the feeling that I got, didn't have a lot of time to talk to the people on the ground, the groups and the individuals, but I could get from it that there was a sense of, well, this is worthwhile. It's worth coming to see what's there. But putting it this way, Michael, if you look back 15, 20, 30 years ago, and I would have had less concern about this particular age bracket, because that's never come
back whenever you're around my age.
Yeah, more or less. So that's for the old folk. Don't worry about that. But I see such development in that over the 20 or 30 years that we realise, and it's largely too, as you will know, I'm not sure what the census says, that more and more people are in the age bracket. The balance, and certainly throughout the UK, is going the other way, that we're an ageing population. Whereas in Southern Ireland, it's still a young population that's growing. If you know what I mean. The oldies are we're leaning towards that. So they have to. they're duty bound if they have to respond to the needs of the people who live in their area. They have to more focused about looking after the elderly. So I think they're doing as reasonable a job. I mean, there are people out there saying, no, they don't do anything for us or this or that, the other, but well, write it to us and tell us about it. And maybe if you approach perhaps themselves and or other community groups, they can do this joined up writing for you. They can encourage you into these sorts of activities or sponsorship or whatever it might be.
I think you're right. I mean, you mentioned the census figures, Nick. We only talked about those a couple of weeks ago. The latest figures did show that there was a growth in this borough of people who are over the age of 65. But I suppose as well, you know, and you know this better than anyone because you're out and about and you're doing all our pieces of camera and you've been out with a few of these groups. You know, we are very, very lucky in this part of the world that we have so many community groups who do put a focus on older people. You know, I'm thinking of the friendly club you were at the other week down at Clondegale. I'm thinking of some of the groups that are on the Jethro Centre. It's fantastic, and you know, particularly, you know, we're coming into the winter months now. I suppose there really is a bit of importance, or not so much importance, but there's definitely an emphasis on, you know, getting older people together, having a bit of community, because it can be a very lonely time for people, can't it?
It can. It's also too that fear factor that emerges. You're always concerned about your well-being, of course, your mental well-being, but the physicality and the need for funding or the need for support monetarily. This is a very telling and perhaps trying time for people. As we go into winter, we don't know what it's going to be like temperature-wise. It's always going to be cold, but is this the winter where we can't afford to or have to scrimp on everything we do because we're not certain about being able to pay our energy bills and all sorts of things, and that will prey on the minds of older people more so than younger people. We'll get by would be the attitude, but when we're perhaps on your own and all sorts of things, that's where the concern starts, and that's when it's very important to roll up, move in, move up your level of activity, your levels of support, because this is the time that they need it. There's no good talking about it at other times. Oh, well, we'll get round to that. This is when people need it, when that concern is at its highest and when the need is at its highest as the winter continues. So it's very important, timely time to have a strategy. I don't know enough about the details exactly to comment exactly as to what methods are being brought to bear, but I do have the faith that this is going to help in this overall situation. But the call will go out and has been going out to various individual communities, whether it's Age Concern, whether it's the St. Vincent de Paul, whether it's the local GAA club or your community centre. They're all having to raise the game and reach out at this particular time. It's going to be a trying time, but that doesn't mean it's going to be disastrous on the other side of things. If we all step up and look out for our neighbours, as it were, look out for those who are in such a situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Good chat. We'll move on. We'll move on to a topic that I really want to talk about. We're going to go into sport.
Oh dear. Yeah. Can I get a handkerchief for you?
No, I've got one here. I'm all right.
Okay. So tears before bedroom.
Oh,
before bed all week.
It's been a horrible week to be a supporter of Craigavon Football Club. A draw against the worst Portadown side I've ever seen. The bottom of the league, Portadown, by the way, I should say. Well, they were at the time of recording. And then on Tuesday, defeat in the League Cup to Championship side Loughgall. Now, in fairness, Loughgall, you know, they're top of the league. They're flying. They've won all but one of their games this year. And the other, I think the one they didn't win was a draw against the team who are sitting second in the league. So they're not a bad side, don't get me wrong, and they're full of confidence. But Craigavon obviously aren't full of confidence, and one win in the league all season, out of the League Cup once again in the early stages before the quarterfinals. They have a game on Saturday against Dungannon Swiss, which now looks as if it's going to become a must win. I know it's only 10 games in, but it's not looking good so far this season.
Has this been the worst of season starts for Gary Hamilton's team?
I
in
would say
his
so.
tenure over the 10 years?
I would imagine so. Yeah, it's not so much. There's obviously we're sitting, I think, on 7 points from 7 games. I could be wrong. I think we've won 1 and drawn 4. We suffered, plus the performances have been terrible. Obviously with a heavy defeat against Newry City just days after a fantastic win up at Coleraine, our only win of the season.
They were beaten 5-1 in that Newry City,
that's right.
weren't they?
And performance.
So
I know we've had a couple of weeks, break in between. There was a couple of games didn't take place, but performances just haven't picked up, really, to be quite honest.
So Gary isn't a manager who hides behind the door. He comes out and takes it, fixes it on the chin, as it were. What are his thoughts? What has he an explanation? Has he a route forward? He
basically thinks that the squad is low on confidence, and he has encouraged the players to go out and play without fear. Were his words. Obviously they're in a bad run. They're now afraid to go out and put in good performances. What he's thinking, because they just can't get the confidence up. Against Loughgall on Tuesday night, they had enough chances to win 2 games. That's not beat about the bush. It's a game they should have won, but they didn't, and it's all down to the fact that they have no confidence in front of goal. Later on in the second half, I thought there was a couple of chances. I think we hit the post at one stage. I think we hit the side of the netting as well, 2 or 3 times, and you just think a goal's coming, and then Loughgall sneak a chance, get a goal, and they win the game. And it's just bad. I don't know. It's not necessarily bad luck. It's hard to try and explain, just how low the confidence is, and you can see that coming not just on the pitch but in the stands as well. It's whenever you're putting in bad performances and the fans can't even be bothered to boo, that sort of tells you.
Heaven forbid, they're almost expecting it to be such.
Yeah, that's the thing.
What do you see to resolve it? I mean, you mentioned Gary Hamilton saying, "Go out there and play with confidence." I mean, take your confidence. How do you instill that confidence, or what do you do? Do you wait on a bit of luck when the game goes your way when it shouldn't, and suddenly you've got a victory, or what do you do?
I think they just need a lucky break. Obviously Tuesday night as well, they were impacted by the fact that they lost the likes of, I think Peter Campbell was injured. He had 2 of his, he reported injury on Tuesday morning. He hadn't been well. 2 defenders were out injured as well. So he had no luck in that regard as well. And also at the start of the season, he was hit by suspensions with 4 red cards in 2 games. So they haven't been able to be consistent from that point of view. But
are you worried at this stage that it may be dropping from the Premiership? I mean, is it as serious as that at this stage, do you think?
At this stage, no. I think there are teams in the league who are worse than Glenavon. And I'm not saying we're not good enough to go down, but I do think that we are, we're not the worst team in the league. I think Portadown and Dungannon for me are still the teams that are going to be down at the bottom. Newry City as well. I think we'll probably drop in there as well. And you'd have to watch. Carrick Rangers have got off to a great start as well. I don't think they'll go down either.
Newry Town have just come up from that other. Who were the other team who came up this time round? Was it Portadown?
No, there was nobody else came up this time round. Portadown had played An United in the playoff and won.
But they've been in that lower division, Portadown, recently, haven't they?
They have.
So you're hoping it's going to be them and somebody else. You're not going to worry. But you say that's too early. You don't want to kind of put the dampeners on Glenavon fans. Being one myself, of course, now that I've gone to 1 game this season. Maybe if I went, they might lose because they lost the last time. Anyway, it was just a sliver of hope I was offering you there to turn up. But.
Well, I think I will get you a season ticket. Don't worry. I don't think you're the scud, but no, I think something has to change very soon in terms of their luck. And hopefully, if you read Your Lurgan on Sunday morning, you'll find a report on there from our match on Saturday afternoon. because I'm not going to be at the match this week, unfortunately.
Okay, no live update. Oh,
No
dear.
live updates this week. Michael's having a week off.
could you send Ethan over to do it for you, the young
No,
fella?
unfortunately, me and Ethan will be at the zoo. We're going to Dublin Zoo.
Oh, send us a report from that. We love Ethan on this. He was the highlight for me last week. I know you were too. You were too.
He wants to do his own podcast now. He tells me. So, your job. You mean you're sitting there laughing? You can be snapped very soon. Nepotism. Don't
you show him how to work the camera? We're all in trouble. Definitely. Yeah.
We'll move on to something that doesn't involve Glenavon getting beaten. We'll talk about GAA. You were also down at a couple of check presentations. Was that with Tones or Oak?
Yeah, I was at Our Oak. It was actually kind of last weekend. The presentation, what I think we showed it on Monday, 4 checks to 4 organisations, really a good collection of money, about 2,500, as it were. Lovely people there with the big checks. And it was from, I'm trying to think now, it was from the Marie Curie nurses. Some went to that. Some went to the Craigavon, are they called Federation? The Craigavon grouping of St. Vincent de Paul. Another went to the Downs and Proud. And of course, the one in the middle went to...
It was Marie Curie, Aware, St. Vincent de Paul, Downs and Proud.
Aware was one of the ones that took. A really nice evening. Lovely people that we chatted to. Here's a brief look. Let's go to Aware, which is largely a mental health charity. What sort of work do you do, and how much of it are you able to do in this area?
Okay, so Aware are mainly based in Derry and Belfast, but they've branched out to the Southern Trust just recently. So I'm one of their sessional trainers. So what we're doing is delivering free training at the point of delivery for any organisations or schools. Next week we're actually delivering sessions in Lismore, quite close to here. And I suppose anything like for Our Oak as well, just with any of their teams or any of their members, we can deliver courses here which will be free to this organisation. So these funds will give monies then to deliver mental health resilience training from across the lifespan, so anything from young children to the older generation.
As I say, really good. They're very friendly there. Ian O'Hagan, the chairperson, real good guy. And afterwards, there was a quiz. I was in a quiz with a few friends, Isabel Highland among them. And we entered the table quiz. I think they have one there regularly on a Friday night. We didn't win, but we came third. And I thought that was pretty good. We're only a couple of points away from winning, but that's another story.
Yeah. Joe, something, I haven't been to a quiz in a long time. I used to love going to a quiz. But just with my social calendar these days, I don't tend to get them very often. So
they have changed over the years. I was a quiz master in Lurgan and other places over the years. I remember being in the vintage for, we're talking in the 1980s here, but a lot of quizzes around the place. I even did some quizzes when I was in the States and ran them there. Great fun. But they've changed in how you do them over the years, largely because of the intervention of the internet. Once people got knowledge on their phone, it was very hard to police. So you were writing a quiz for people who could use Google. There was no point. Yeah,
and then you get the person who takes the phone out of their pocket because it's wrong, or they've got a text message, and automatically are being accused of cheating.
Yeah,
actual fact they're not. But I've been that person. But no, I used to go to quizzes up in the Shoot. Neil Harvey does a very good quiz. I'll have to get back down there for one some of these days. But good. I think that's pretty much it from us. Apart from I want to mention.
Oh yes, the community day. I forgot to do that. We'll put a wee bit in from the excerpt from the live update we had yesterday from the community centre in Mornview. That was there. Caroline, who's the officer in charge there, kind of invited me down to this event. They're just kind of trying to raise money through some toys that a lady was kind of raffling and different things. So that was good fun for 2 or 3 hours yesterday afternoon. So have a quick look.
Yeah, we're in Mornview Community Centre today, and Emma is running an event today here in the community centre. All proceeds are going to a charity, and there is toys, and there's free raffles, and there's clothes, and there's all sorts to do with babies, and she would like it to happen that people come along and donate a little bit of money to buy some of these things, because there's a lot of homeless people out there at the moment and people needing these kinds of things for children, especially coming into the winter when the bills are rising and no one can afford it. So Emma is kindly running this event today as a volunteer to try and raise the money for this.
So we've come towards the end of the event. You've had a lot of people in, we understand, a lot of goods sold, as it were, a lot more too. What was it like? What made you want to do the project?
Electric bills are rising and your gas and your oil is rising, and coming up to Christmas, it is hard, and everybody trying to find what to. You don't want to pay full price, like I understand. I have 3 kids. You want to be able to afford Christmas, and you still want to be able to celebrate Christmas in a big way, instead of having to, where you just squish down their present amount to be able to get more.
I mean, it's environmentally friendly too, isn't it?
Yeah, and also seeing good quality stuff go to a dump is quite heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Especially with the dumps being closed. You've seen that build up of just everything on the roadsides.
And there you are. I wasn't at Glenavan's game, but I was in Mournview, if not Mournview Park. That was as close as I got.
Yeah, you're only up the street. Aye, very good. Very good. The only other thing I want to mention as well is to keep an eye out for this week's Property of the Week, which we have is coming out at 5 o'clock on Sunday. So keep an eye out on that. If it's actually already on the website, if you want to go and have a look, but we'll have it on social media from 5. It's fantastic. It's down off the Kilmore Road. Lovely spot.
Is it called Solitude, somewhere like that?
Yeah. It'll cost you a cool £775,000. That's the asking price.
Hold on a second. Would you have £774,999?
I don't even think about 775,000 pence. But
no, okay.
but aye, really worth a look. Even if you're not interested in buying the house.
Just on the edge of Lurgan Golf Club, there's a pathway down to the golf club. I'm doing the property owner's job here. It's really a good location.
Yeah, but our stairs to upstairs and all that there. Yeah, you're like Dion Dublin. Was he stairs to the bedrooms? Isn't that what he says? Dion Dublin. Who ever would have thought that Dion Dublin, top striker back in the day for the likes of Manchester United and Coventry City, would be selling houses on BBC One. Anyway,
yeah, he's got quite the career as one of these reporters for BBC. He's replaced. There was controversy. We'll not go into it for long, but Mark Lawrence was kind of moved sideways and complained it was because of age. But the truth be that many people said that Mark Lawrence wasn't really relevant anymore. People like Dion Dublin have moved into that space and
you think that'll happen to us, Donagh? Do you think people will move us aside because we're not relevant anymore?
Ethan's clipping at my toes as we speak.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's it from us.
There's a relevant in the room, or there's a non-relevant in the room. You take your pick. See
anyway,
what I did there?
Yeah. We'll finish off. We'll just say to everybody that thank you for your company. Great to see you, even though I can't actually see you. Bit strange. But don't forget you can send us your stories, info@yourlurgan.com, or send us a message on social media, because of course we're on them all. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're on them all. If you search for Your Lurgan, you'll find us. And yeah, we'll be back next week, I suppose. Donagh, we'll probably be back in Lurgan next week, won't we?
We certainly will. And I can just give you a hint of where I might be, certainly during the week on Monday night. We didn't make it to a special charity event that was in the Seagull on Saturday last. It was a boxing match, men's, women's, young people's boxing match, all in aid of a cancer charity. We weren't able to kind of bring you the coverage, but I will be visiting the gym where they all perform and the club. It's called Southpaws. It's down in the Ballinary Road, I think it is, down just outside in Derrymacash. So we'll have that report probably with you on Tuesday, Michael. That should be interesting.
I will take a note of that.
So I'm Donagh McCone.
And I'm Michael Scott.
Thanks for joining us.